To compete in XTERRA is to experience some of the most spectacular locations our planet has to offer. Even as they run, ride and swim, XTERRA athletes must contend and commune with nature. With a racing calendar featuring hundreds of events across 5 continents, there is no shortage of stunning destinations to explore.
XTERRA athletes are outdoor adventurers. What they find when they go to different places around the world is they may be in a strange venue or a place where nobody speaks their language, but they do find out very quickly that people there all share the same passion and the love of the sport and the love of nature. And you know, XTERRA people are explorers in the first degree, I would say.
Each country's landscape is so individually different. Like Asia is so rugged and raw, the trails are so not necessarily clear cut, and you can be, you know, riding through someone's backyard almost and they're sitting on the patio having their afternoon tea or something. And then you go to Europe and you have maybe more clean cut trails, but you climb for an hour and you get to the top of the mountain and you can see where you're going to descend to on the course.
It takes you to places that you actually really wouldn't go on your travels normally. So, you know, it feels so much more real. You know, you're getting a real side of these countries that you're going to.
As far as race locales go, it doesn't get much more exotic than the French Polynesian island of Tahiti, situated in the South Pacific. Every May, the XTERRA World Tour makes a stop in this paradise, a dream destination for honeymooners, and of course, for off-road triathletes.
I'm pretty sure that Tahiti is on just about every nature lover's bucket list. Now imagine being able to experience the natural beauty of Tahiti while swimming, mountain biking and trail running during an XTERRA. I think that's very, very special in itself. You are experiencing a sensory overload from the beautiful oceans to the jungles to the cultural experiences. It's everything you could ask for an outdoor sports adventure.
Tahiti was an amazing destination. I mean, first off, it was just a bucket list place for my wife and I to go. It was just pretty magical just to be there outside of the race. And then the race itself was just an amazing kind of tropical adventure. And we didn't know for sure what to expect. It was dry at first and then it rained a bunch. So it ended up being a muddy race, but you know, the locals are like, oh, it doesn't rain here. And you know, you just kind of get what you get and you're up for adventure, so it was a good time.
While Tahiti is renowned for its picturesque beaches, there are also gorgeous landscapes inland.
Riding through the farmers' crops, like the pineapple plantations, the banana plantations, pretty amazing. But even just the whole experience I had when I went there is, you know, you don't have a car, you can stay up on the mountain, so you're overlooking the bay, and you can just walk down to the beach and go swimming with sharks. They don't bite, but it's a pretty picturesque location.
XTERRA Adventures is presented by Tea Tree. The Experience. Discover the magic of tea tree. XTERRA. Racing and apparel for your active lifestyle. Visit xterraplanet.com. This segment is presented by Tea Tree, The Experience. Discover the magic of tea tree. 10,000 miles away from the tropical paradise of Tahiti are several enchanting XTERRA destinations in Europe. In the Vosges Mountains of eastern France, riders can experience the incredible wooden bike park one day and then watch a stage of the Tour de France the next.
XTERRA France is really special because first of all, it's one of the biggest in Europe. It has a lot of participants and a lot of people cheering, and also because they built a massive bike park with a lot of ramps, bumps, pump tracks, and obviously with pallets. They built these high ramps that you have to attack.
I think now, yeah, it's a big signature of this race. It's huge. Every year they make it bigger.
In the famous German town of Zittau, near the Czech and Polish borders, thousands of athletes race to the Hockwall Tower each year. And in the Czech Republic, in a quiet, undeveloped expanse of countryside, there's a charming XTERRA venue, one that's steeped in history. In the Bohemian Forest, in the southwestern part of the country, sits Tahiti. This Renaissance-era town was the site of the 2019 XTERRA European Championship, 15 years after the Czechs hosted the first ever continental championship there.
Czech Republic was the place where it all started for XTERRA in Europe, and the local community and the team of Piluček family is doing an amazing job in this race.
Race director Michal Piluček, who was born in the region, grew up playing ice hockey, but was introduced to XTERRA by his father, Michal Sr., who placed 18th at the World Championships in Maui in 1999, and then brought the sport to the Czech Republic, organizing the first ever XTERRA European Championship in 2004.
I was 15 years old, but I remember the huge after party with fireworks, rock bands, and this is what really influenced me for my approach to organizing, because I think XTERRA shouldn't be only a race, it should be a big festival. I really enjoy when after the race athletes came to the party and know more about each other, and this is what XTERRA is all about.
Can't wait no more speed of the time.
Mexico is the 10th most populous nation on Earth, but its XTERRA World Tour event takes place not in Mexico City or Guadalajara or another huge bustling city, but in the rural countryside of Jalisco, a state in the west-central part of the country. For the past decade, the race has been held in the small and charming town of Tapalpa, about 5,000 feet above sea level.
So one of the other great things about racing XTERRA is traveling to locations that we would never normally go. We had never even heard of Tapalpa before coming here, and you know, just riding in the forest, like on the trails here, and running and swimming. You know, we'd never really, you know, if we didn't compete in off-road tri in XTERRA, probably ever see this.
This is the best scenario for this town. At night, there is a lot of little women selling atole and tamales and everything.
XTERRA Mexico, a very unique destination. We are a couple hours outside of Guadalajara, so this is a destination for the wealthy people in Guadalajara to get out and get into these ranch communities where there's horses and big, huge ranches, and then these small towns. And Tapalpa is a historical town, and they keep it that way. They've got cobblestone streets, you know, a couple 100-year-old churches, and everybody comes out in the village square. They have almost like a celebration, and the night of the race, they shoot off fireworks, these homemade fireworks, and it's pretty cool. They're playing mariachi music, and it's pretty cool to be welcomed in that community and really be a part of it.
When it comes to sports competitions, there are few venues on Earth more inspiring, more remote, more gorgeous than Rotorua on New Zealand's North Island. Lewis Ryan, an elite XTERRA competitor, grew up in Rotorua and has made it his mission to explore the entire country.
There's so many better things you can do in New Zealand than Mercer Bay, which is this epic, like, west coast. Yeah, just like super cool little walk. It's honestly like, it's like a half-an-hour walk, but you go and there's like 400-meter high, like cliff tops, like the highest cliffs in New Zealand, just like epic scenery. It's kind of like if you combine like New Zealand, Hawaii, and Amalfi, but she says it's kind of like cliffs and stuff like that. So super awesome spot. And then Kari Beach. Honestly, I think it's like the most unique beach in the world. It's like this huge, long, like 10K long black sand beach. But just like, yeah, if you imagine New Zealand as kind of like this weird postcard of like beach, hills, trees, everything. It's epic. The lake where I grew up out at our mum and dad's place. This is amazing, like natural hot pools that you can only get to by boat. And yeah, they're stunning. Do that, toast off the evening, just real laid back barbecue, boat, hot pools. What more can you wish for, eh?
The Kiwis love the outdoors, they love sports, they love challenging themselves, and they also love a good barbecue. Great bunch of people, fantastic country, amazing scenery. It definitely should be on your list of XTERRA events to get to. Rotorua, Wellington, absolutely brilliant, eh?
Belgium has only been on the XTERRA calendar since 2016, but the event is steeped in history. The race takes place in Namur, with its cobblestone streets, river views, and striking 1,000-year-old citadel.
Belgium, yeah, look, it was probably one of my first races I did when I first came across the XTERRA from the road. And I guess if you put it in a few words of what I remember about Belgium, I guess beer, potato chips, mud and stairs.
XTERRA Belgium is one of the biggest races in Europe. You see the Citadel, Belgium Castle in the mountain. You swim in a beautiful river and you arrive to the Citadel with the bike. The running, I think, is one of the most beautiful parts of the race because you have 2 or 3 laps around the Citadel.
Combining history and natural beauty is the event in Scano, in the Abruzzo region of southern Italy. The course is demanding, with long climbs up to the surrounding mountains and technical downhill trails that lead to the heart-shaped lake.
Scano in Italy would hands down have to be one of, I guess, my most memorable places I've been to race. And it's kind of cool that you're just racing through these streets of what is genuinely such an old town. There's so much history in this place.
Scano is a really nice town because of it's located on a mountain. The main things that you have to taste in Scano is pan dell'orso, a traditional sweet of Scano, made of almonds and chocolate.
The US is home to several excellent XTERRA locales, from Oak Mountain State Park in Alabama, which boasts arguably the best pure off-road triathlon race course in the world, to the Wasatch Mountains in Utah. But the most breathtaking of them all, literally, is Beaver Creek, Colorado, 8,000 feet above sea level.
Our events in the United States are very, very diverse. We've got a race in Alabama that has potentially, I think, one of the world's best mountain bike courses. It's got fabulous flow, and you know the park is awesome, 10,000 acres of undisturbed nature, southern barbecue. It's a great location. And then from there we go to Beaver Creek, Colorado, and you're up in the Rocky Mountains with the aspens and the bears and the deer and the you know, beautiful weather usually because we're there in the summer. And you know, from there we go to Utah, which, you know, again, fabulous ski territory, beautiful colors because we're usually there in the fall. Super, super friendly and supportive community. We're very, very fortunate to have those three on our schedule.
The ski resort of Beaver Creek is where Josiah Middle, the greatest ever American XTERRA athlete, lives, trains, and thrives.
Summer is when all of a sudden the outdoors is just open to you, just trails everywhere, and you can hike, you can mountain bike, you can trail run, just for miles and miles and miles. XTERRA Beaver Creek is my hometown race. We're at high altitude. We start about 7,500 feet at the lake. The bike gains over 3,000 vertical, the run gains over 1,000 vertical. And so it's definitely a sufferfest, and even for people that are acclimated to altitude, every part of it is just a draining, challenging event. And then you look around you and you're surrounded by the Rocky Mountains. You have these amazing views and really good trail system at Beaver Creek.
Beaver Creek's definitely one of those places that you need to go there, you need to do the race, and then go and take the time after the race to actually enjoy where you are. And you probably need a day after the race to just recover from how horrific the course has been and what it's done to your body.
XTERRA Adventures is presented by Tea Tree. The Experience. Discover the magic of tea tree. XTERRA. Racing and apparel for your active lifestyle. Visit xterraplanet.com. This sport has a truly global reach, and in 2018, the XTERRA universe expanded to reach the dazzling southern shore of Taiwan, with the inaugural event in Kenting, an outdoor sports paradise renowned for its rugged mountain terrain, coral reefs, and pristine beaches lining the South China Sea.
Kenting as a destination was just unbelievable, and I kind of had no idea what to really expect, particularly being like a first year. I didn't know anyone who'd ever been to Taiwan. As a destination, it was unbelievable. Like the contrast of having these like beautiful water and like white sand beaches, and then just like this hustling, bustling night market with like thousands of people every night cruising around and scooters and stuff everywhere. And yeah, it's just like for me, it's the coolest destination I've ever been, and just the coolest trip ever.
During the planning of the first XTERRA in Taiwan, we spent some time scouting locations across the island. So in order for us to find possible mountain bike and trail run routes, we were then introduced to a guy called Svensson, who in 2015 had opened a triathlon training school in Hengchun, which is an ancient Taiwanese township located next to Kenting, which is XTERRA Taiwan's seaside host town. Once he was introduced to the sport of XTERRA, and Nico Lebron, who helped educate Svensson on designing XTERRA courses, the rest is basically history, and we've been working very closely with Svensson ever since.
Through this sport, we hope to promote the appreciation of our nature, protect and nurture the planet that we live on. Sports like this bring minimum damage to the planet as we explore and love it.
In September 2019, another milestone for off-road triathlon in Asia, as the inaugural XTERRA China event took place in Kunming, a city in the southwestern part of the country.
It was important to us to have a world tour event in China because China is such a huge population. I think it's the world's largest population, 1.4 billion people. It's the second largest economy in the world. And most importantly, there's been a cultural shift there over the last several years. And what's happened is that we now have a whole generation of people that value leisure time and fitness for fun.
Since the idea of off-road triathlon is still somewhat of a novelty in this region, and if you look at the stats which show an increase in endurance sports like triathlon, trail running and cross-country mountain biking, it's just a matter of gathering a bunch of like-minded, hard-working sports and nature lovers.
The landscape and the environment in XTERRA China was very particular because the lake was at 1,800 meters in altitude, but the lake was warm, very nice to swim there. Another thing that was incredible was the flowers and the trees there. There are very beautiful fields of flowers in this altitude. Looks incredible.
Maui, the Hawaiian island that is a dream vacation spot, a surfer's paradise, and the culminating event on XTERRA's annual calendar as the site of the World Championships, with magical waterfalls, spectacular geysers, and lush forests. It is a beautiful place to visit and can be a brutal place to compete.
When I think of XTERRA Maui, I think of painfully beautiful.
When I think about XTERRA World Championships, like one word always pops into my head of, it's relentless.
Maui is our favorite destination, I would say, in the XTERRA Tour, and it's primarily because it's the grand finale of the season. There's a definite spiritual feel to that island that is completely unique, and where we are in Kapalua is pristine.
From Belgium to Beaver Creek, Tahiti to Taiwan, from ancient man-made structures to natural wonders, these off-the-beaten-track locations, each unique, each beautiful, are the settings that allow XTERRA athletes to live more.
What's kept me racing XTERRA is to travel all around the world, new places, meet new people, new traditions, new cultures, new food. We love to travel. We are an adventure travelers and adventure seekers.
Coming up in the next episode of XTERRA Adventures, it's the top plays in XTERRA history, the most crazy crowded swims, the gnarliest courses, the most brutal wipeouts, the tightest finishes. Who knew XTERRA could bring the drama like this? That's next time on XTERRA Adventures.
Esper Patterson makes the path.